Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So, unfortunately, I'm having internet issues, so I can't show you what I'm about to show you live. But 150K around the corner, it may be happening. Bitcoin is strong as ever, and let me show you what's going on today. Well, my internet's not working, so this is not updating, but we are starting out the day about 71,100, 200. It does look like Bitcoin wants to go up in a big way, and we got a lot of big catalysts happening. Just yesterday, we did have Bank of Canada cut its first rate, okay, in several years. And guess what happened today? The ECB did that today as well. The very first cut since 2019, right? When all the COVID stuff started happening, the rates went from basically zero all the way up. I mean, ECB went up to like 4% in the US. It's a little bit higher than that, 5%. But this is good news. Other countries have started to cut. So will Powell in the U.S. do the same thing? I don't know. There's an FOMC meeting this month. I still think it's unlikely. But hey, maybe he caves to pressure, or maybe this gives him an excuse to do so by saying others are doing it, right? And the reason why all the banks around the world, central banks, are doing this is because economies are slowing down. People are spending less, and that's not what they want. Okay. And plus, in the U.S., we have elections coming up, which is a big deal. So this is actually pretty good. Can we see a rate cut later this month? Fingers crossed. Don't think it's going to happen, but there's a slight chance in May. Well, I can't show you that anymore, but I can show you this. Also today, I saw Robinhood is buying Bitstamp. Robinhood is very serious about expanding the crypto offering. Bitstamp is regulated in 50 countries. They have hundreds of crypto available, and now Robinhood is going to be competing with the likes of Coinbase and Binance and Kraken, right? They're taking this very, very seriously. So I don't know how they're going to integrate it, but I'm looking forward to it. Once you could actually go on Robinhood and trade, I don't know, hundreds of crypto, that's going to change the game for them. So that's pretty big. That's pretty big. As for ETFs, we know that ETF inflow has been absolutely massive. Yesterday, now we have the total $488 million of Bitcoin went into the ETFs. And the day before was 886. And on Monday, it was 105. So you put it all together, I mean, you're talking about what? And then, I mean, you're talking about like close to $1 billion, guys. $1 billion. And we had 17 consecutive days of inflow. Okay. This is going to add up. I'm seeing some comments saying, well, if there's so much inflow, why is Bitcoin's price not going up, right? Well, give it time. There's only so much Bitcoin out there in circulation. And this is just removing it from circulation. Yes, there are still a lot. And yes, there are some that are selling. I read a report about a miner selling. They need to, because they need to grow after a halving event, right? So there are still obviously sellers. But just keep in mind, these big boys, these institutions and family offices and pension funds and whatever else that they're buying, once they have bought, they're not going to sell. They're putting it in a balance sheet and they're holding for years. So what this is doing is essentially taking Bitcoin out of circulation, and that supply shock I've been talking about is happening already. And will continue to happen, not just from institutions, but also from whales and retail alike. And that is why that 150K could be right around the corner. And this is not from just some average Joe. This is from Standard Chartered, one of the analysts from Standard Chartered, one of the biggest banks on the planet, is now saying that Bitcoin gonna hit 150K by the end of this year. Hey, who else did you hear that from? Me, right? But I'm just a guy on YouTube. This is a guy that works for Standard Chartered. And he believes that we could see even 80,000 by the end of June. Hey, we're in June already. And he's talking about macro data, like payroll data, that can propel Bitcoin upwards. And also he's talking about election. And he's also talking about everything else, right? This is coming from a bank, guys. Traditionally speaking, banks are very, very anti-crypto, but not Standard Chartered, because they know. Why deny it? Just embrace it, right? You do better just by embracing it. They don't actually compete. Well, they do, but still, it's better to be this way. So we have so many signs that show that Bitcoin is about to go up in a big, big way and could be right around the corner. Mike Novogratz also expects Bitcoin to hit 100K by the end of this year. That's very conservative. I actually think by the end of the year, 125, 150 is realistic. I think we could hit 100K by July or August, the way things are going. There's not a lot of sell pressure above 73,000. The reason why we haven't been able to break above is because there are a lot of shorts that set their sell orders right around 71 to 73,000. But once we break through that, 80, 90, 100 is right around the corner. There's nothing up there to stop the momentum. And here's another one. Bitcoin's most important chart has 94 trillion all time. This is talking about the M2 money supply. Okay, the reason why we have inflation, the reason why the central banks have to cut or raise is because of this. Because there's a lot of money and there's always more money being added to the supply. That's why the M2 money supply is growing now. It has not grown for quite some time because in 2020 you could see how fast it went up, but now it's starting to grow again. So that means inflation is never going to stop, guys. Get this through your head. Inflation is never going to stop anywhere, okay? It's going to keep on going up. But when the money supply starts growing, guess what happens? You could see the correlation, right? Whenever the global liquidity goes up, Bitcoin goes up. Whenever it goes sideways, Bitcoin does not to go anywhere, right? So the fact that, yeah, it's starting to go up and Bitcoin is already at 71,000, think about it. Just put two and two together. A lot of people will take that money and go buy Bitcoin or buy ETFs with it, right? So that is also really helping the situation, right? And it's going to continue to help. Now, as for some charts, what's going on with short-term movement? Well, a lot of good things too. Here's an inverse head and shoulders pattern from Crypto Rover, right? Again, when it breaks out, there's not much stopping Bitcoin on the upside. There's not a lot of selling above. And if we get that short squeeze, which I think is right around the corner, we will see 75, 80K in no time. And that could be at the end of this week, in the weekend, right? I really think we're at the cusp of that. We will break through 73, our previous high, and head to 75. I think that is right around the corner, right? And when you zoom out, you realize, yeah, we're at that point. We're at that point. Look at 2017, look at 2020, and look at where we are now. We have broken through all-time high, the previous all-time high, and we are ready to go higher. This is getting into the parabolic stage of this cycle, guys. That's why I keep telling you guys to stay strong, stay focused. Continue to DCA and let the gains come to you. I've been proving that with my DCA portfolio with you guys. Dollar cost averaging every Wednesday. That portfolio is looking mighty healthy and continues to go upwards. That's all it takes is patience and holding and DCA. Here's another example, 2017 versus now. Again, we're at that cusp of a major breakout that's going to happen. So enjoy it. Enjoy it. It's going to come. It's going to come soon. Now, outside of Bitcoin, just a few other news. Meme coin institutional holdings surged. So it shows that even institutions are FOMOing in on Doge, Sheep, Pepe, and many others. This cycle, one of the big narratives of the cycle is memes. And that's not going to stop. We're going to see more of them coming out. And we're going to see a lot of them go to new heights that we've never, ever seen before. Right? So don't shun it. Just embrace it. You may not like it. You may not have to hold. You may not even hold any. That's fine. But memes, just know that will be a big, big part of this cycle. I would not be surprised to see the top 100 filled with a ton of memes by the end of this cycle. Also, Tongue is getting serious with Tether. They have this big relationship, and over 100 integrations with various local partners are planned to use Tether on top of Ton. And Ton is very, very hot right now because of Notcoin and so forth. But there's a tight partnership here. Very tight partnership. And lastly, Charles Hoskinson is not happy with crypto media, with influencers shitting on Cardano. He believes that they don't deserve that. They are going to continue to push forward. They're going to be at Rare Evil. They're going to be at Token 2049. They're going to figure out how to scale. They're going to do Hydra. They're going to do, partnership chains. They're going to do a whole lot. So people need to give them some credit when credit's due, right? I mean, I get it. Charles is in a really hard spot because he's building and building and building like what he should be doing. But yet again, people really just care about one thing. When Moon? When is ADA actually going to catch up to all the other L1, L2s in terms of price movement? That's hard to control. You can't really control that, right? But I do think ADA is going to continue to do well because of Charles. There are a lot of people that believe in him, but there's also a lot of people that are getting restless. They want to see a finished product and they want to see the price go up, but that's really tough. Sometimes it's out of his hands. All right, guys, that is pretty much it. I don't know what the price is now. Maybe it's higher, maybe it's lower, or it's around the same. But my pesky internet is not helping today. But hopefully I can figure out how to upload this quickly so you guys can watch it. And hopefully my internet gets fixed by tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.